What up, dudes? Right now I'm going to Ace Hardware because I took stuff apart of my bike at some point. I don't remember what I was doing exactly, and I don't have any seat bolts. I realized when I was watching like an Instagram video that I made that when I went from like knee knocker to sit down, my seat like moved weird, and I was like, what the hell, I don't think I have any bolts in it. So I guess when I was putting stuff back together, I put the bolts in it, and then I forgot to tighten them down, and they must have fell out doing wheelies and stuff. It hasn't had a problem yet, but I feel like at some point I'll do a spreader where my seat just falls out, so I'm trying to prevent that and hopefully find some bolts. I think I'm also gonna get a new handbrake master because this one is like funky and going so far away from me. I don't like it. I had a 14, but I traded my 14, which was a good 14, to Tyler for his old 16, and this thing's kind of collapsed. So hello, cop, don't pull me over. Alright, cool, thanks. Yeah, but I was just making this video because people really like when I consistently upload instead of just disappearing for like a couple weeks and then coming back, which I don't really ever disappear. I just post shorts when I don't have anything to post, but figured I'd make like a real video. Feels good, and I don't know, I got time to ride, so I might as well ride. But I do have a topic that I want to talk about. I'm always trying to think of topics to talk about, but there actually is one that I kind of want to touch on, and that is advice that people give for wheelies. I'm in this group, I forgot what it's called, it's something about learning how to stunt on Facebook, and oh my gosh, like people, I swear, like you must not have to know how to stunt to get into, well obviously you don't, because people are asking for advice, but like you obviously don't have to know how to do wheelies to be giving advice in that group, because there's so many people giving such bad advice. And like I want to give everybody advice because I like helping people, and that's why I make like videos trying to give really detailed explanations of stuff and like, yeah, how to do certain tricks and stuff like that. But I don't want to respond individually every time there's a post in there, right? But I'll just look and see if people kind of give the right kind of information, and people give such bad information. Like a dude told me the other day, so I saw a post of this guy, he stoppy, oh, was skirted. Was I here first? Probably. Who was doing wheelies, and he was practicing by just popping up and foot braking down, which is a great way to practice. A great way, like, don't focus on chasing first, don't focus on distance or whatever. Just work on building your foot brake, and once you know how to foot brake, then you'll have more confidence with trying to chase it out, because you know you're probably not going to loop, right? Well, I basically commented about how that was good, and some other dude was like, well, I know people who could wheelie for miles without using foot brake. Like, no you don't. First of all, if you mean a legitimate mile, nobody is wheeling a mile long, like an actual mile, without either chasing super fast or actually knows foot brake. Maybe you are really good at throttle control and you can just barely float into balance point, but the thing is, if you don't know foot brake, then you'll be like floating into balance point and coming back down every once in a while. Like, you're gonna slowly start chasing, and so you have to be able to go at least a little high enough for foot brake to slow you down, and that's the only way you're gonna make a super long, I mean, I guess a mile is probably not really that long maybe, but I guess if you're shifting through gears, then you can gain speed slow enough to do that, but it's not a controlled wheelie. I feel like measuring the skill of a wheelie based on distance is kind of stupid, because Max Risk can probably do a mile-long wheelie and he can probably be going 200 miles an hour by the end of it. It doesn't mean it's a good wheelie. It's just a shitty wheelie, a shitty, dangerous wheelie. I measure your wheelie ability and your ability to actually control the bike. So if you can foot brake and you can, you know, control your speed, yeah, maybe you can only wheelie halfway across a lot, but you keep, because you keep like foot braking too hard, but you're foot braking. I would say that's a million times better than just being able to mile a wheelie long. Oh, you know what? I'd probably just go, since it's a red with a right turn. I'm gonna go. But yeah, I mean, I think a short wheelie that is controlled with foot brake is a million times better than a long wheelie that you're chasing real hard. I'm pretty decent at them. I've been doing wheelies for a couple years now, probably, like maybe, would I say professional? Not really, but like borderline professionally for like a year. It's not really professional though. I basically have been pretty good at them for like a year, and like overall learning start to finish has been like maybe more than 2 years. I don't know. Well, my very first clutch up is probably over 3 years ago, but like actual progress, I would say I'm like around 2 years in. I can't do everything, but I can do a lot, and with as much as I can do, like I know how to do basic stuff pretty well, and I've taught a lot of people how to wheelie too. I've taught them how to actually like control their bike with foot brake and not loop, and like get to scraping and like stuff like that. And once I get them to that point, kind of let them take over, and yeah, it's really just like a seat time things past that point. But getting them to the point, and the thing is, like, it's best when you're teaching them on groms, because you see people progress so fast on groms. Like, I taught my other friend Jared how to use the foot brake and like wheelie his grom, and it probably only took him like 2 months or something, and he was like dipping and stuff like that on his grom. You know how long it took me learning? I mean, not totally on my own, because I had and Riley like giving me advice, but when I was learning on my stock 636, it took me like a year to get to the point where I was like almost at balance point. I also didn't ride or practice that much, but learning on stock big bikes is hard. Learning on like stuff like groms is a lot easier, but also having somebody like teaching you the right way, it makes a huge difference. And so all these people, I feel like I kind of got super sidetracked, but like all these people on Facebook dissing on such a good way to learn to like actually control the bike is annoying to me, kind of. And I know some people in that group chat watch my YouTube, so if you see this, hello. But yeah, man, look at these people's profiles too. Like the guy who I was kind of arguing with a little bit, the bike that he was wheeling was like a little CRF 50, and he wasn't using foot brake. He had like little pegs in the back of it so he could like balance easier, I guess. So kind of like cheating, like pegs like at the rear, like the back wheel or whatever, you know, like I don't know. Basically, I wouldn't trust taking advice from him on how to like actually do good wheelies. So I just don't understand why people who don't really know stuff like not only give bad input but then diss good input, you know. I'm not trying to say like, oh, like my advice is the best and everybody should listen to me, but like if you don't actually know, I don't know why you would put down somebody who does. Because I've got all the videos on my account to show like I know what I'm talking about. That guy has, you know, enough videos to show me he really doesn't know what he's talking about. So that's why I was kind of thinking of titling this video something about foot brake is useless. I forgot, I had it written in my notes, but I don't remember exactly what I was gonna say. Because that was another thing I wanted to talk about. People, the simple advice people always try to give, because there's like street smarts and book smarts with wheelies. There's always people who know what to do but couldn't actually do it if you told them to, and people are always like, oh, just cover that rear brake. Cover, like that is not exactly bad information, but it's not, it doesn't do anything. Like telling somebody, oh, just cover that rear brake every time you wheelie, that doesn't make a difference, because as soon as they hit like balance point range or higher, oh, there's where I'm going, Ace Hardware. I could probably turn at this light and get in there. Yeah, as soon as they hit like kind of around balance point or something, like, or go higher, at some point they're probably going to go too high and loop, because just telling them cover that rear brake, that doesn't do anything. They gotta learn how to use rear brake before they actually need it, because if you just convince them to cover it, like, they're just gonna go up, they're gonna get scared, and they're gonna bail. So what everybody does, even if you are screaming at your friends to foot brake, because that's what I'd be doing, I teach them, I make them repeat foot brake over and over, and then they get to that height and then they take their foot off. I'm like, foot brake, foot brake. I'm just screaming at them, and it helps them. You know, if you can find somebody to do that for you, that'll help you too. But yeah, man, let me talk about this more when I come back out. Hopefully I find a bolt. Wish me luck. So one of the guys in Ace Hardware that was helping me find the bolts that I'm looking for, which by the way, I'm going to show the information real quick on the bolts. But anyway, he was talking about wanting to see me do some stunts, so I'm going to go this way down the road and show him some. I'll come by here real quick and pop a wheelie for you if you want.
That's fun, man.
Pop a little thank nooner for this guy. Golly, there's so much traffic. Oh, he's getting out there. He's gonna video it, I think. So if you ever lose the bolts to your R7 seat, and this may work for MT-07s and stuff like that also, there you go. There's a bolt information for it. Threads perfectly. I didn't have to force it or anything. The only problem is that stock is like a 5mm hex bolt or Allen wrench, and the ones that I was able to find were 6. So I just went ahead and bought another Allen wrench. It's like $1.89 for just the Allen wrench. I was like, well, I think it's gonna be easier to just buy an Allen wrench than to keep looking for more bolts. So that's the solution that I took to it, but I don't really care. I have bolts that fit perfectly, and you know, I was able to get the Allen wrench into the place in the seat that it gives you to hold it, so I don't really care. I've got everything all situated nice and good. Wonder if my tire is gonna be warmed up enough to roll a stoppie up here. Successful Ace Hardware run. Oh, okay, so what I was gonna talk about with covering the rear brake, unless I already kind of talked about all of it, I don't know. I feel like my brain is all over the place. This is why I don't make videos like this all the time, because talking about stuff is hard. I'm gonna roll a stoppie. Oh yeah, I bet that scared the shit out of that truck. Maybe he's calling the cops on me. He's on the phone. Hey, we're both doing illegal stuff, bro, so you better not snitch. Yeah, anyway, what was I talking about? Yeah, covering the rear brake, man. Telling people to just cover the rear brake, that's not gonna do anything to help them. If you want to help them, tell them to be practicing rear brake, like actively, like pushing it to end the wheelie every single time that they want to end the wheelie. Also, just in general, popping it up and like foot braking immediately, regardless of how high it goes or how long you ride it out. Like, just pop it up and foot brake immediately, because when you do that, you're like building the muscle memory, but you can slowly work on just getting higher. And you know you're not going to loop, right, if you know as soon as you pop it up you're going to foot brake. So just commit to that and don't bail on that, and you can start forcing yourself to get to new heights without looping, which I think is a good way to figure that out. And and I feel like once you're used to the height, you'd be better at riding it out too. Like, it's kind of the same way with stoppies. I would like just jam the front brake kind of at a dead stop, get used to that height a little bit, and then I would try to come rolling into them with speed at that height, because I don't want to go flying down the lot trying to get used to rolling them, and like I'm coming in at 90 miles an hour and I'm rolling 30 feet at like a foot high, you know, like. And also, if I do go too high, like, then I'm going way faster. Like, I'm not used to the height, you know. So I feel like working on height a little bit, it feels like it should be backwards, right? But if you're foot braking every time that you're clutching up, then I feel like working on height first would actually be pretty good, and then you can think about throttle control and stuff like that after, because now you're not going to be as scared. Plus you're going to be working on foot brake and training yourself not to loop. So I don't know, that's my little spiel for the day on that. Now I'm riding with the Harley, brah. He's a wah, 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 wah. Oh yeah. These stoppies suck. Trash, dude. At least the tire's freaking finally gripping. I can officially review my Michelin Pilot Power 2CT tire. What a mouthful. Yeah, it's nice. I think it's probably better than my stock tire, because my stock tire would break loose a lot. This one, so far, now that I feel like it's actually broken in, it doesn't really break loose much, unless it's like not warm or something. But I'm gonna go crazy when this light turns green though. gotta yield for my boy. My boy Dodge Ram. Alright dudes, that's all I made in the video. If you enjoyed, drop a like, subscribe. I'm gonna go home. Wheelie. Should I do third gear? Third gear wheelies? Uphill. Bro's gotta get in the gate, man. Hello. Okay, I'm ending it for real here. If you watched this far, tell me in the comments like hedgehog or something so I know you watched it. Alright, what if we try podium though? Alright, I've been working on my flexibility a little bit. Shit! That's all I got. I even did the freaking spreader again. What if I put a foot? Oh! Oh my gosh! I never tried that, but it worked.